What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? Make sure my mic is plugged in. Everybody can hear me. Unlike last time. Good evening. Good evening. Y'all come on in. Good evening. I know it's late. I'll be honest with you all. No matter how hard I try to get in earlier, it just never happens that way. It's called the job. You gotta have a job if you want to live in our house. Have some food. I still have a regular. Oh, show comments on stage. What? Oh, nice new feature. What's going on, everybody? I hope you guys can hear me and see me. Um, wanted to kind of do a live tonight just on the. Hey, Janice Green, how you are? How are you? How are you? Live viewer coming. Okay, so hopefully you guys' comments should just automatically pop up. It's like there's some sort of new feature on StreamYard, but if not, I'm gonna put them up anyway. How you doing? Good evening, Janice Green. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. You're good. Awesome. Fantastic. Hopefully you guys make sure you guys are leaving chats and comments. That helps with engagement and also lets me know that there's enough people in here to kind of get started. I'm gonna kind of go over the swearing in of Napoleon and the Dolton board meeting. I'm just got the court documents today for the lawsuit that was filed against he who will not be named from the second victim, Asha Gant. So I got the court docs, y'all, and that's what I was kind of waiting on to do my video. There's a jury demand in her case as well. So she has more of what's considered a tort complaint. And she also had a second defendant listed, Morrison Security Corporation. So I'm going to do that in a separate video along with going over Fania Dukes' lawsuit as well. You know, and I guess, part 2 of depravity amongst these weirdos over here with he who will not be named and keep the chicken nugget. Yeah. Probably do Michael A. Smith after that. I don't know. We are going to go into Samisha Williams' lawsuit because there's some good stuff in that and a potential to have possibly some violations of finance campaign laws. So we're going to go over that just for that, because of that. So you guys, make sure you hit the like button coming in. Thank you all. I know it's late. Many of you going to catch the replay. I do recognize this is late. I didn't get the chance to really stop until about 10, and had to get ready for work tomorrow, grab a shower, all that good stuff. So here we are. Starting a late live stream again. But I want to thank you all who all are tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, look, the comments right there. I see it. Okay. Thank you all for tuning in. So, good night reply is okay. Yeah, replay. I'm sorry. It's a bit late. It's a bit late. But I'm not gonna be long. Good night, Carolyn. I appreciate you. Wow, get that Fiji water. I just got a regular bottle of water. I'm not that balling to get the Fiji water. I don't think Super is gonna be able to afford Fiji water either now. She gonna have to get that Kroger Walmart brand like the rest of us. She's gonna have a hell of a lot of attorney's fees to pay. Trust me, she ain't gonna be able to afford Fiji water either. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all so much. I just wanted to go over parts of this swearing ceremony and the Dalton board meeting, and I finally got the court docs for the second victim from He Who Will Not Be Named. Got the complaint. So I'm gonna do that and Fania Duke's complaint in a separate video. But oh man, y'all, this swearing in. So let me just say up front before we start on this that I heavily supported Nate Fields winning for a myriad of reasons. One, because he was personable, and two, because he was able to kind of, divulge his part of his platform and some of the ideas that he had if he would have won. And three, I didn't know much about Napoleon Harris. He was kind of too much behind the scenes, in my opinion. And I know some people will disagree. Um, and I do understand, you know, I've gotten it. He doesn't have much experience, but either way, I mean, you got to start somewhere. And I'm just saying, in my opinion, I would have preferred him to win and allowed, of course, supported Jason to be mayor. And then you still had Napoleon as state senator, and they could have helped to mentor him. I think one of the things that Nate needed to brush up on was his ability to kind of make sound decisions and to be careful about his inner circle. You can't please everybody. If you go into an elected position thinking that you're going to make everybody happy, you're already setting yourself up to fail. But I don't think he would have been too bad with the right guidance um, and mentorship. Now, should he, try to become a trustee? Yeah, by all means, he should try to run for that position. I definitely would hope that Napoleon would actually offer him a position like within Thornton Township, even if it's like an assistant, so that he can kind of learn the ropes. But as absent from the public as Napoleon was, I mean, he could still kind of get some mentorship with the trustees. A couple of the trustees, I don't know who they are, and I'm gonna tell you all right now. I'm not gonna dive deep into them, but the ones that have the experience, hopefully he can get, a position there, and then they can mentor him and they can kind of help him, give him guidance and some wisdom, um, help him to kind of really learn the ropes, and he can still maintain his independent thought and to be able to kind of, you know, he doesn't have to go with whatever they say, not be a puppet or anything, but just still have his own independent process on how he, wants to kind of put some of his ideas out there. But Napoleon won. He was sworn in yesterday. Anybody would be better than Super Stupid, to be honest. I mean, I don't have a problem. I don't know Napoleon, so I don't have any issue with him. I just would have preferred Nate win. That's it. Pretty much how I feel about that. But I'm gonna just kind of touch on. I didn't see Napoleon campaigning anywhere. I mean, most people said that they didn't see him out. They didn't see him really doing much of anything. And it would have been nice if half of the globe was tuning in to Dalton and Thornton because of Super Stupid. You know, would have been nice if he would have, came on a couple of YouTubers platforms and did some interviews and stuff like that. The only interview I really saw he did was the one where he was talking about comparing teachers' salaries and NFL salaries to, experience, which didn't make sense. It just didn't. So is that was the only time I recall seeing him doing any interview like that. Um, but if most of the residents was keeping up with what was going on by tuning into Facebook or YouTube or, lots of us YouTubers covering, you would think he would want to have taken advantage of the opportunity by, you know, connecting with people through coming on. If not, he didn't have to do all the channels. He could have just did like, 4 or 5 good YouTubers and drew a name from a hat and offered an interview, made himself available. That way people could have connect with him a little bit more personal. But he didn't even do that. Nate Fields did. Even a couple of the trustees were on YouTube, platforms. Mary Avant went over to Jedediah's live stream, as a constant. They have a close relationship with each other, from my understanding. So that's the best way to really kind of connect with your audience, especially when your audience is keeping up with what's happening by watching YouTubers. It's just kind of the reality of the situation. So I don't have anything against Napoleon Harris. I don't know him. I have not looked at his, resume when it comes to his record with being a senator. So I can't speak to anything regarding, his performance and the decisions that he's made that's helped, the state of Illinois. I can't speak to that because I don't know. But what I can say is what I noticed, and it was him being absent. That was pretty much that. So that's just from my stance. But for the residents, some of them are okay with that. They, he don't need to be in the camera. I'm not saying he should be. I'm just saying he should have connected with some of the residents on a more personal level, at the very least, by taking on a couple interviews, even if it was the people who live there that have YouTube channels. That would have been anything better than the lack of presence that he had when he was campaigning. So, but that's my 2 cents on that, y'all. I'm sure many would disagree, but if I can't tell the truth on my platform, where can I tell it? All right. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Welcome to all of those. Got about 36 people in here. Y'all hit the like button. Thank you all so much for the love and support. Watching the depravity of Keith McChicken Nugget McNugget Price. That video has over 5,000 views in 2 days, and I appreciate you all for tuning in. And I try to, if I have to read these court documents, I understand it's very boring stuff. Reading is fundamental. I try to make it entertaining and give my commentary as I go. But I do give my honest thoughts. So you guys have supported that video. Thank you so much. I would love for that thing to go viral. Because I mean, you can't go wrong with court documents. Okay? You just can't go wrong with that. But I brought nothing but the facts. And it has well over 5,200 views in a matter of 2 good days. That's probably one of the best performing videos I've ever done. So thank you all for tuning in to that. And it was not about Super Stupid. Go figure. Goes to show everybody's not fixated on her. But for whatever she's done wrong, it is her fault. So, I haven't even had dinner yet. I just wanted to go ahead and hop on before I hit the bed because I have to get up in the morning. Got a long day tomorrow. Got a meeting. I still have a regular job. So let's get some more comments in. Hey, Nita. Sorry, I missed you. I'm sorry. How you doing? All right, everybody's speaking to everybody. Wonderful. His answer didn't sit well with me either. Yeah, no, I didn't like his answer about the whole, you know, getting paid the salary she was getting paid. She didn't earn that. She was inherited that salary. So I mean, kind of begs the question: was he aware of how she came across the salary? He had to know that she did not earn it. He had to have known that. So seriously. People got a retirement seat like Frank Z. That's all, no vision. Yeah, y'all. Hey, Candia, how y'all doing? Hey, Enrique, how you doing? The lack of him campaigning and doing anything is just weird. LLC, there were residents that said he was doing a lot and interacting with them just off camera. I get it. I understand. And I'm like I said, I didn't say he had to have a camera on him 24/7. Lord knows, I know many supporters here in the LLC that are residents were exhausted of that, but they still wanted to have some connection with him and his platform and what he had to offer. And when he does speak, he says something along the lines of that's like questioning an NFL or a basketball player or teacher salary, something like that. Well, they don't. You're talking about two totally different sets of salaries here. So is this, Klein, don't start all that nonsense. I'm not in the mood. I'm tired. I had a long day today. Naples sympathizer. What's wrong with you? She's giving her comment. I told you don't go for my mods now. Cut it out. All right. Illegal. What's going on, road tripping? Welcome in anyway, clown. Y'all know he's Jedediah Clown's one of my favorite tropes. I gotta go to mama mode. I will. Don't go for my mods now. Leave him alone. All right. Y'all ready to get started? Let's check this out. And I'm gonna give my thoughts on, after each video. But let's just watch the portion of Napoleon being sworn in and a little bit after that so that I can give my thoughts on this. Put a one in the chat if you can hear and see. Let's get to it.
Who I just respected that most, and I really believe that he must have been raised by my mother. He has this perfect attitude. He is always understanding that you have to treat everybody well. My mother pretty much just ingrained that in us when we were young, all of her kids, that you have to be kind to everybody. It doesn't matter what people look like, what they act like, what they talk like, just be kind to everybody all the time. And she would add to that to help us understand it better. She told us that you don't know what road life is going to lead you down, and you don't know who you're going to have to ask for a helping hand. And it may be that very person that you have not been kind to, but you're kind to everybody. Everybody will eventually learn to be kind to you. And when I speak to kids at schools, I always tell them about the situation, especially with younger kids, that if you're in the car with your grandma, grandpa, mother, father, and they're taking you home, and you see something happen to one of your friends, if it's somebody that treats you kindly, you're gonna say, Grandma, Grandpa, you gotta stop. We gotta go help whoever that person is. But if it's somebody that's not being kind to you, you're going to tell Grandma and Grandpa, keep on driving. And Grandma and Grandpa are going to do what you tell them to do. That's what they do with
keep on driving.
So it's just so, and I'm talking to everybody in the room right now, that it doesn't matter what someone's position is for you to be kind to them, because the people that you may think can offer you.
So I'm not sure who this judge is. It is nice to hear someone well spoken, but this is your favorite survivor, Vivian. Y'all make sure y'all check out her channel, her content. This is the video we're using here. So shout out to Vivian. Thank you so much for going to that meeting and sitting in the front row because she got a good view and recording this and posting it up. And she did say in the video that anybody could use, her video. So I appreciate that. But I always try to make sure I give a shout out to, other content creators. But I've never heard or seen of this judge, but man, it's just refreshing to hear someone speak English. You're not sitting here like, oh God, what is this person saying?
Nothing. Maybe the people that helped me with it's just so very important that you always just everybody treat them well. And it'll take you a long way. And that's a promise that I'll make. I could start getting into some of God's promises, but I won't do that right now. But just ask you to please be kind. Yes. And so again, I believe he was raised by my mother. So I'm going to ask.
Yeah, that's so cute.
Senator Harris to come forward because he'll be supervisor in just a minute. Senator Harris to come forward so that he can take his oath of office.
Is he still going to be state senator? Is he going to be both? Ryan Gonzalez there apart from his bad decision. He's a trustee. Jedediah Clown. He's a trustee. He was reelected. You missed that part. I mean, why is he there? What are you saying? Did you miss the part where he is a trustee? Still. Yeah, it must be it's your bedtime. It's okay. This is my bedtime too. But I had to do this video, y'all. I had to do it. Hey, Buck baby. How you doing? Kelly, you still hanging in there with us? Hello to all the people hiding in the bushes. I mean, my God, at least say hey. It doesn't have to be that intense. Good grief. Road tripping. What's going on? What's going on? Okay, let's get back to it.
I, Napoleon Harris III, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the state of Illinois, and the ordinances of Dolton Township,
Mhm.
and
Oh,
that I will
God.
faithfully discharge the duties of the office of supervisor of Dolton Township to the best of my ability. Consider yourself sworn.
Is he limping? Oh, that's his wife.
I see made a comment earlier, and I see that
You
Cheryl
make a
and
nice little
Tom's
couple.
working sitting together over there. So I guess you didn't do anything by that.
Okay, I want to scroll to the part, I think, where he introduces his staff.
When this or incoming debt, but at all times, Terry Wells and the chairman of the
Okay. He gave all these shout outs. It was long. That was very long.
The trail that will be written down in history.
Oh, yeah. God, y'all, Big Pimpin' showed up. Al Kendall. Y'all, Big Pimpin' was there in his full effect of that 3-piece suit. Oh, Big Pimpin'. Al Kendall. Yeah, what I just don't understand is why he has not explained why no site inspector or member of a compliance team checked over these grants that he keeps trying to push out there. Because that's what he sent to me as information in text messages, because he only wants you to text him. So I did. I challenged. I called his bluff. And I did a whole video where I posted up the conversation with me simply asking for financial budget reports related to that youth grant program. And he never sent it. He just told me to go on a website where it was still not there. Just shout out to all in the queue, though, because she did do a FOIA and she did get the information. I'm personally waiting on the FBI subpoena, and my FOIA request is still being processed. And that was filed directly to the FBI. So, it's not just 5 days here, people. All right. So I don't know how long that FBI subpoena is that was served to the Illinois DCEO, but I do want to know what's on it, because that's going to help me understand, exactly more of the scope of what they're looking at regarding the grant. More than likely it goes without saying that it is the financials, because there are zero receipts or invoices or anything to show how that money was spent. If it's not at Dolton Township and no invoices or receipts were submitted, more than likely what the Illinois DCEO will have would be very limited as well. And then they'll just have to go to the various, vendors or merchants or wherever they went, whatever they can track down, and subpoena those records that way. Same thing with the village of Dolton. They had to, subpoena certain vendors to get information because they didn't have the receipts or the invoices at the village. So that's something that the FBI can do. But I'm just curious to know what's in that FBI subpoena. I want to see it. And I know y'all want to see it too. So this man dropped the ball. If you got a compliance team that's supposed to be looking over these grants to make sure that everybody is in compliance, and you have site inspectors that are supposed to go out to the sites to inspect the sites to make sure that they're being compliant with the grant, then they dropped the ball and they just failed to do it. So any of this nonsense he's talking about, Big Pimpin', I just can't take to heart. I can't take him seriously. I can't. And he sent that to me in a text like, it's something they can prove they're doing when they're not. So when I saw that, I said, oh, okay, he full of shit. That's it. Big Pimpin' Al Kendall is full of crap. That's exactly what I said. And it's in a video. And I showed the messages because I just couldn't believe that he was not sending me at least a link where to get the financial data. That's it. It was that simple. He's the worst. And then there's a portion where he
make the decision of making more. This room, yeah. I hope that you begin to feel it.
People were making comments and stuff.
I like about what he's doing. I want you.
Oh Lord, did I skip over the part where? Okay, maybe I missed that part.
Raise your right hand. And repeat after me. I, Cassandra Holbrook Elston.
Okay, I must have skipped
Listeners,
it.
you read.
Either way, let me put it like this, because I don't want to. This was a 2 hour and 53-minute thing. They had a meeting before the ceremony and then went into the ceremony. So it got to a point where you're hearing babies crying, people just chattering, and it got really, really loud towards the end. Couldn't really hear what he was saying. Napoleon was saying at the mic. But Stephanie Wiedemann, and I'm going to say this, should have been hired or appointed to do something, especially in finance. And I can only assume the only reason that would be even logical as to why she wasn't is because she has a pending lawsuit against Dolton Township. That is the only reason. And it should not be a reason to not hire her, because she is competent and does have the credentials and was willing to speak out against Super Stupid regarding the spending. She was one of the first ones from the trustee board to be in the news and basically said, I can track their whole spending of, from the Las Vegas trip with credit cards, which I've gone over myself in a video. I went over where I said Robert Hunt is in more trouble than he may realize. Yeah, that video where I went over the credit card spending, especially the amount of money he spent. And then he still can't give a real budget report. That's so cartoonish, it's not even funny. But I just, aside from the only thing I can think of that would have deterred Napoleon Harris from appointing her to a position would be that lawsuit. Other than that, there is no explanation that he could provide other than him just wanting someone else. This is not a matter of, him having the right to hire who he wants and selecting the staff he wants. But he is familiar with her work experience. And he even said himself, he referred to her as a worker bee in this swearing ceremony. He said, y'all, Stephanie is a worker bee. She was, going back and forth, trying to monitor the cars that needed to be removed, passing messages along. After the meeting, they had the actual meeting where Gonzalez was pro temp. After that, you just saw her just on the go, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And even Napoleon Harris recognized it. And when it was her time for him to recognize her contributions, she didn't even come in right away because she was out handling business. But how do you pass over someone that does have the credentials and the experience, and the wherewithal to be able to perform as a trustee, and not at least offer her the finance director position? Even if she didn't want it, I understand. If she didn't want it, I still would have appreciated him offering it. But I don't know if she didn't want it. Who said she didn't want it? She doesn't want to. Who said that? Like, did you hear that from her? Because I was kind of irritated. I was like, what the hell? She was already a trustee. Why you just put her in another role? I think he's so he's still gonna be state senator. Okay. Great. You mean you're not connecting me before the swearing? Who that lady? What do you mean? I don't know. I like the part when Napoleon said that he was the first Black elected Dolton Township supervisor. Yeah, I did peep that. I peeped that dig because she was not elected. It was some midnight hour Russian sideline project because the previous supervisor passed away and she inherited that dang on salary that he earned. And, the thing I always said, and I have definitely got my mama fussing on when it came down to that weird ass board vote. I actually went over the midnight hour voting that they did, the board of trustees there. I have a reaction video to that. I went through that video and I said it was just maniacal how they took away the voice of the people. And then look what you ended up with. Satan's toe jam. You got the worst of the worst stuff here. Torturing people basically and giving out food boxes from a facility where there were mice. Oh Lord. So she did nothing of value. Put everybody's health at risk. So yeah, you first elected by the people. Yep. And the caucus vote was a legal vote, y'all. It's a part of state statutes. It was legal. All right. That legally, he had the right to do a caucus. Whether you like it or not is irrelevant. There are a lot of laws I don't like. Even my godmother said that. She's a whole judge. She said, my laws I don't like, but I have to uphold them and honor them. And until someone comes along and writes and passes an ordinance or a law, or amend the one that exists that you don't really like or you don't think is applicable or anything. Laws aren't written based on whether you like it or not, by the way. It has to be to the benefit of the people you're serving, to society. You don't just pass dumb laws, because if that be the case, a whole lot of laws that would be deemed unconstitutional would be passed because simply somebody liked the law. So no, laws aren't passed that way. But whether you like it or not, the caucus vote was a legal vote. Laws, gotta have them. It's just kind of how it is. Tit for tat shows Napo is a Napo baby. Oh Lord, yeah, it's Buck baby. Stephanie should have. I literally would have. Wiedemann would have stepped up to be supervisor. She could have ran and probably would have won if she would have ran for supervisor. I think she would have won. I think she would have had a fantastic opportunity to win. But I think what Napoleon Harris did, and I've said this before, was because he did have that pull and the ability to kind of get the vote secured, even to come in and decide to be committee leader or whatever for the Democratic Party and to do the caucus vote. You know, he had that power behind him to be able to do that. But, you know, if that's even with the legal route, that might have been a dirty punch, but it was still legal to make sure that super lost. I'm fine with that. I'm not even saying I don't care. She needed to go. Whatever. I'm not here to hear and even sound like I wanted her to have the opportunity to run again. No. She wreaked havoc for 4 years, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. Yeah, that's enough. Like, he went the legal route and she tried to challenge it in court. And guess what happened? It got dismissed. More proof that it was legal. The judge dismissed it. She tried to sue and the judge dismissed the case, the complaint. So, like I said, lots of laws exist. We won't all like, but they're there. And that was the legal recourse they took. And it worked. Thank God it worked. And a judge in a court of law even reiterated that having a caucus vote and a committee leader deciding to do a caucus was a legal process. That's one of the major reasons why her lawsuit was dismissed. So it is what it is with that. But I really would have liked to see Stephanie become, you know, an administrator of something. I honestly would love for her to be the director of finance, but Robert Hunt don't even want to be seen anymore. He needs to go. Why is he not fired? Why is Robert Hunt still there? Clerk Wells is a gem. Should have used her in the admin. Yeah, she was good. Good clerk. Stephanie's very smart. She is very smart, very bold. And even when she was, you know, selected through that special election, when she was elected, you know, she came in and tried to still be, you know, somewhat amicable. But Super Stupid is just not the type of person you come in trying to be amicable with, because she's too much of a narcissist. You either kissing her ass or she sees you as an enemy. That's it. So Sometimes you just got to get to know who you're dealing with to be able to make sound decisions. I would not have wanted Stephanie to feel like she needs to sit here and to try to cater and get along or to reach some sort of peaceful resolution with this woman, because you can't do that with a narcissist. Psychologically, it's all about them and no one else. So nothing that they do would be genuine or honest anyway. So no one owed her an opportunity to do anything. And no one gave me a chance. Yeah, no, Stephanie did. Stephanie gave her a chance to sit down and come to the table in once she was elected, and to try to talk, logically, to be peaceful. She still gave pushback. If she disagreed, she said, I disagree. But she tried to do it respectfully and with professionalism. And Super Stupid still shat on it and disrespected her. Lesson learned. Like, I wouldn't have tried to do that to begin with, but I'm sure Stephanie was like, all right, lesson learned. You're still a piece of shit. Got it. So there's nothing to try to be amicable with when you're dealing with someone like Super Stupid. But she at least tried to show that she has some level of diplomacy. And with all of that, Thornton Township was more than happy to elect her to become a trustee. Once again, it just begs the question, why didn't Napoleon Harris consider her at least as some form of an administrator over a department? Especially when the vote for her was overwhelming. So that's something that you guys have to, the residents there are going to have to raise their voice up in these meetings. Hopefully he goes to. Hopefully he shows up himself, but those are concerns you're going to have to raise. Why isn't Stephanie Wiedemann appointed to a position here? We elected her to be a trustee. So if we're beyond the whole, and I don't believe in voting for identity politics. I don't believe in voting colorism. I'd rather have a smart and intelligent person, regardless of their ethnic background, as opposed to an ignorant, dumb, loud black woman. Period. And I think that opportunity was just, he still can appoint her to something. But I just don't think it's right to not even try to offer her, a position. That's my 2 cents on that. So even if she says, no, I'm good, I at least would love to be assured that she was offered an opportunity. And it kind of sucks. Jedediah said he could see the hurt in her eyes from that. I'm sure he could. I could tell, puts the drama from my end. No, it's not drama. I could tell that, she in the last meeting, it was kind of like really somber. And here I am saying, well, hopefully they just go ahead and appoint her into a position. And that didn't happen. Now you have people that, I hope you all know who all these trustees are, because 2 of them I don't even recognize. So hopefully you guys have done your research, because you guys live there. Y'all have to continue to vote and hold them accountable. And the other trustees that are up there, aside from Valerie Stubbs and Mary Avant, hopefully you guys are familiar with who they are, and you can do your background on them and kind of, maybe have time to talk with them, get to know them in these meetings, and then kind of challenge this. Why isn't Stephanie here, still in some role, in some capacity? Because she was capable of doing the job of a trustee. And we at least want to be, assured that she was given the opportunity. All right. That's how you can do that. There's always a tactful way. And then when that doesn't work, y'all just go full mama mode and just, just go in. Let's get some more comments in. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate that, y'all. I know it's late. It's almost 12 midnight my time, but it is. My heart goes out to, because I just think she did well being the trustee for the short duration she was. And of course, she had served the community prior to her losing that opportunity. And the people came back in, and you all voted overwhelmingly to put her back into that trustee position. So I just, her lawsuit is still pending. It's still an active case in court. And I don't blame her for filing a lawsuit. She was wrongfully arrested. And I went over the lawsuit. So you guys can check out my video in the Super Stupid playlist and see the video I did where I covered her lawsuit. It was crazy how they treated her. But after all that she went through, she was still reelected. She still tried to come to the table. And Super Stupid, once again, being the asshole she is, just, still treated her like crap. And it wasn't right. Let's see. Yeah, it's not drama. Y'all listen, that eye clown is just saying shit. Now you're just saying stuff. Yeah, calm down. Calm down. It's an observation. I'm saying the same thing. I don't like how that was handled. I don't. Yeah, she did. Janet, she got to take her own medicine. Super Stupid sucks. And only she had a personality that would see it that way. Yeah, no, you can't. She left crying. She did. Stephanie left crying. Buck Baby said, "Me too. I just need them to allow cameras in the courtroom when the federal case happens." No, man. I said the same thing. I would love to be on that jury. Pick me. I'll be on that jury. I'm glad Hentai is out. Hey, Trina's Waterbill, how you doing? But Napoleon gives me the vibes of shady. It's just a feeling. Yeah, no, I don't like him slighting her for a job. Child, please. Y'all see clown here. You understand? Why I don't take him seriously? That guy clown can't take that comment seriously at all. Man, no, we're not gonna deflect accountability from Super Stupid. We do not do that here. All the court documents where it's outlined the laws she's violated and broken in Thornton and in Village of Dolton. Nope, she's gonna be held accountable. Hey, Laura, what's going on? Clown is acting up. We're in the YouTube mansions, Jedediah Clown. You're either gonna come up into the YouTube mansions, or I'm gonna leave you behind in the gutter. Which one is gonna be? Mansion or gutter? How you gonna do this? We're sophisticated here in the LLC. Look at me, Charles. I can't wait till they slap the cuss on her. Yeah, me too. Oh my God. I'll be coming down the mountain. Yes, couldn't do that. All right, you guys speaking to each other. I appreciate that. Tiffany was Super Stupid was crying when? Oh, because she lost. Oh, I don't care about that. I don't care about her crying. Y'all know I don't. Oh, she cried. Oh no. Like, she had this coming. And she failed to do her part to even try to be a candidate in the caucus. She failed to do the paperwork. That's what's so astounding about this. She failed to file the documents and do the paperwork. Instead of her going on Facebook ranting in a video, she could have did the documents within a timely manner. It makes no sense. So she bears responsibility with that for failing to do her part. And then she wanted to try to sue, and the judge said, hell no. Hell, I didn't do with this frivolous lawsuit. She didn't do her part. So that's also in the court documents. You guys could listen. Read that lawsuit, because I went over it. I went over the hearing. I went over the hearing where she tried to sue the Dolton Park District. And I went over the lawsuit she filed, against Napoleon Harris because, reasons. Illegal. They go my ego. And she still failed to do what she needed to do to ensure she was on that ballot. Like, child, girl, please. Child, boo. All right. Kickback sound. Hey, Saint. So glad you guys are tuning in as late as it is. I had to work. Sorry about that. Had to work. All right, let's get to the next video here. Now that I've spoken my piece about that. Because like I said, I just don't like how she was snubbed. The second one here, we're going to get to this meeting. I want to make sure I have this timestamp because I'm not going to go through the whole video. Did I not post up this? You guys, make sure you go on the Village of Dolton website. That's where I'm pulling this video from. I'm trying to see. I thought I did a comment where I did timestamp. Okay. Let me share my screen. And we'll watch just a little of that, not the whole thing. And I'm gonna give you all my thoughts, and then you guys can give me feedback. You know, let me know. Everybody's not gonna always agree with my opinion. I'm just saying. I know everybody won't always agree, but my opinion is what it is. Now, if I present a fact, the fact is a fact. We don't debate facts or laws here because we're not out of touch with reality that bad. But opinions, yeah, we can debate opinions. Let's get to it. Let me see if this is where I want to.
Okay. Next thing on our agenda.
A fun.
Oh God, Big Pimpin' showing up
Better
everywhere. What? Big Pimpin' Al Kendall showing up everywhere. Why is he everywhere?
Steps to honor for this great village, and it also is there a motion at this time to amend the committees as read?
Okay.
Steps to honor for this great village, and it also demonstrates that great thing.
So I just wanted to play the part where there is a vote to change the damn committee assignments. Thank God. I said footage of her milling around the crowd well before the caucus vote began. She wasn't trying to get people in. Yeah, I even went over that. I reacted to that caucus vote. And she was, man, she started crying when she left. That's what you said she was crying for. Yeah, she was crying when she left the caucus thing. Super Stupid cried when she realized that this caucus vote is actually happening and I am not going to be a part of this. She cried about it. But she failed to do the documents and fill out the forms and stuff to be on the ballot. She failed to do it. Just like she failed to pay rent, make sure she presented evidence on time. Like she failed to do a lot of things. But, you know, you can't be mad at nobody but yourself. You failed to do what you needed to do. The end. It's that simple. Oh, man. Was the swearing in after party at St. Patrick's asking for a friend? I don't know. I have no idea. Was it? Y'all let me know. Because I you know, I think by the end of that, I was just kind of like, ugh, all the noise and the baby crying in the background. Y'all, whoever had the baby, please next time take your baby out so we can all hear. Because the baby was just crying like most of the video. I mean, babies cry. They do what they do, right? But take the baby out. Can you imagine it going like, y'all, I wouldn't be surprised if she go on the run and try. The FBI will not appreciate you forcing them to chase your ass, girl. Don't do it. Don't do it, Seeley. Don't do it, Miss Seeley. Don't do it. Don't sit here and have the FBI hunt your ass down and chase you. We're broadcasting live from the highway in Dolton where the former mayor is in a police chase. Look at that. Funny how she thought she could break many, many laws and get away with it. She might want to pull over. They're going to pop them tires in a minute. She won't get far. She ain't going to get far. I was never able to find that poll thing you want us to do. It's on the post on my channel. It's like, let's see. I can pull it up after the video. But it is a post on my channel and it's not in video form. It's under the YouTube post. There you go. Thank you, Laura. It's under the YouTube post. So if you go to my main channel and you'll see like videos and something else, you'll see posts. Click on the post and then you just have to scroll down because I've done a few posts since then. And then you just, click yes or no. But I told y'all 500 responses is what I'm looking for. I can get 5,000 views in a video in 1 or 2 good days. I can get 500 responses. Hit 500 if you want that video to be live premiered, because it's good. It's good. I thought it was good anyway. Yeah. I was okay, cool. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to this. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear and see.
Things do come out of Dolton. So as more information comes available or a date has been set, we have a few special guests that we want to invite. And should they accept our invitation, we will we want to coordinate with their calendar. So I would anticipate within the coming weeks that we will have a firm date set. But with that being said, I'll ask Clerk Keith to call the roll.
Trustee Tammy Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Norwood.
Aye.
Trustee Sand Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Belcher.
Aye.
Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay, next on the agenda, item E, discussion and approval amending the following board trustee committee assignments. The Police and Fire Committee, amending that to Police and Fire Chair,
Right here.
Trustee Belcher, members, Trustee Stan Brown and Trustee Edward Steve, and the Human Relations and Ethics Committee, trustee being, the chair being Trustee Tammy Brown, members, Trustee Norwood and Edward Steve. Is there a motion at this time to amend the committees as read?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second? Second. Hearing a motion by Trustee Belcher, second by Trustee Steve. Any discussion at this time?
Nope.
Hearing none, Clerk Key, please call the roll.
Trustee Tammy Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Norwood.
Aye.
Trustee Sand Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Belcher.
Aye.
Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes.
Aye.
Motion passed.
He voted for it.
Okay. Next thing on our agenda is Mayor's Report. A
Did
few
y'all hear the
comments.
clap? Yes. Thank you, Jason House, for listening to us, especially me, because I know I fussed about it. I feel like this mic is a little loud. Hold on. Get too much feedback. Thank you, Jason House, for listening, because I fussed in at least 2 separate videos about this. I was like, go to your room. Y'all, I was fussing so hard after the first official meeting from his swearing. Everybody was like, calm down, Lady Luck Club. Give him a chance. Give him a chance. I said, I'm not giving he who shall not be named in the Lady Luck Club a damn thing, because I owe him nothing. I'm not giving him a chance. Why is he on the committee? I was literally researching earlier today on whatever the legal parameters were that dictated trustees to be given committee assignments, because you guys know I was going to try to find some loophole or something legally to say, hey, you can pass a resolution or an ordinance to keep this from happening. He's got 2 lawsuits pending. One of them filed this year, the one from Asher Gant. That lawsuit is a 2025 case. 2 lawsuits where they are alleging SA allegations here. And you put him on a committee because laws. Well, you can pass a resolution to keep his ass off. Oh, come on. Y'all see how they did this, though? Look at God. See, you can't tell me there was no way for him to be removed from a committee assignment. 1. And 2, here's some food for thought. Y'all thought about this earlier today. Y'all let me know what y'all think on this. I thought about this earlier today. All the times that he who will not be named had the chance to respond to the allegations, especially when Fania Dukes showed up at the board meeting and confronted him and asked why. And he was about to speak. And then Super Stupid stopped him from speaking. You all recall that, right? She looked at him and was like, First of all, why? She's not the one being alleged of the SA allegation, so why would she sit here and try to dictate him providing any response at all, other than I'm not guilty? Of course, he's gonna deny it, but let's just say, for shits and giggles, he slips up and says something, right? Why would she stop him from talking? And then here's where I came to the conclusion. in my opinion, let's evaluate his behavior in Las Vegas and what he did after the alleged SA. He contacted a sworn commissioned police officer. And I want you all to hear and understand what I'm saying for a second. He called, you're talking about a McNasty that is over 50 years old, called another grown man who just so happened to be a sworn commissioned police officer and felt comfortable enough to brag about this nonsense. Like a child, like an 18-year-old discovering that his sack just dropped. They, oh, I got balls. Like it. Just sitting here. Who does that? Who what grown man calls another grown man saying, you know, I just did this. You won't even believe it. What? But the bigger question is, why did he feel comfortable enough to even do that? And the fact that the officer didn't flat out go off or say anything to allude that he's not comfortable with this call, or my theory was he should have, you know, my suggestion was he should have put him on hold, put on the screen recorder, recorded the call, especially when it switched over to a video call. Now you have visual. You're able to place this man in this room with this woman, and you can see it. I would have screen recorded it. I would have put him on hold, told him, hey, man, I'll be right back. I got to go bathroom. And by the time I came back on that call, would have been standing outside the door. We need to do a welfare check. I heard, you know, I got you on video. He could have contacted Las Vegas Police Department. They would have came there and supported him. He has arrest powers, but they would have came out and supported him. And he could have showed them what was going on, said, this is disturbing to me. Sounds like she's breathing weird, or anything to just do a welfare check. And had a couple officers with him from Las Vegas PD. And make sure that he who will not be named opened that damn door so that he could lay eyes on Fania and make sure she was okay. Because he had to know that that didn't look right. He had to know that if it came down to it, I hope he knows her well enough to know that she probably would never choose to do something like that on her own accord. And he could have did a welfare check at least, if it meant getting that man to open the damn door. Because I believe that he who will not be named would have been dumb enough to stay on hold. Period. And that would have been more than enough for them to see visually. Something's not right here. And perhaps it would have driven the ball with the Las Vegas Police Department filing those charges. But the officer waits till they get back to Dolton to tell her, you know, well, this happened to you, and I think this may have occurred, and he called me. We've heard the audio. I know I reacted to the audio. He alleged that there was a video. It's in the lawsuit complaint. But there's a video component where you can see the visual of this man. Now he can't say I wasn't in there, because now you can see the video, put a face in the room, put him in that location. Why did he feel so comfortable to call this police officer? So, aside from that, bigger question is, why was Super Stupid keep trying to stop him from speaking? The allegations weren't against her. The thing that she did was terminate her for bringing forth the complaint to her. So why would she care if he gave a response or not? It's not as if Super Stupid would have been able to fire he who will not be named. He's still a trustee. He was still elected. So there was nothing that she could have done to him if he did give a statement. Does it make sense? Y'all understand what I'm saying here? Because at the end of the day, why fear giving a response if you know, well, the worst that she can be, Super Stupid could be, was throwing a tantrum and be mad. But she would not have been able to fire him. She wouldn't have been able to do anything to him. And why would she go out of her way to try to keep him from responding? I had to drink some water. What if, and here's my theory, what if Officer Miles was not the only person that he who will not be named contacted that night? What if he who will not be named contacted Super Stupid as well? Because why else would she go to bat to try to keep him from speaking about that situation? That had nothing to do with her. Any other time, she don't want to have nothing to do with it. She fired Lavelle when stuff got hot. She chose to hire him. He did his time. He paid his dues. And she still terminated him. But for some reason, when it came to this specific situation with Super Stupid and he who will not be named, she went out of her way to defend him. And she doesn't do anything. Let me help you all understand why I say you got to get to know your enemies. Get to know the people that you're dealing with here. Her narcissism does not allow her to just do something just to help somebody. She has to be an opportunist. There's something she's getting out of it or something she's trying to protect. That is her thought process. What if he who will not be named also contacted her as well? And now she's just as culpable with the knowledge of this essay as much as Officer Miles. Because otherwise, she couldn't fire any of the trustees. They had to be voted out, through the legal, the democratic process, through a vote, through an election. She couldn't fire him. He didn't work for her. He was a trustee. He's a trustee. So why go out of your way to try to keep him from responding? My only theory would be is if he who will not be named also contacted her. And she could be connected to knowing that this happened. And if that be the case, you're talking about the police department at least getting a subpoena for phone records to get call logs. And thank you, Condia. She said, this will ruin me to Fania, which made no sense to me because it had nothing to do with her. Exactly. She had not been the one accused of the SA. And the first thing I said when I went over the lawsuit originally, I said, she acts like she was in the room when it happened. To me, that her whole response in that, it's like she comes off like she's being overly defensive for no reason at all. There's no logic to this. You can't, the trustee could not be fired by her. And allegedly, if she didn't have anything to do with it, why go to bat for that? And I said that in the first video I did covering the lawsuit. And I said, she acts like she was standing in the room recording it or something. Why would she go all out of her way for this? And then yesterday when I was trying to get the court docs to get the second lawsuit of the second victim, Asha Gant, I said, what if her ass was contacted by him? And she's trying to cover up the fact that he contacted her. And she was stupid enough to not only accept his call, but actually have a conversation. Because otherwise, what sense does this make for this grown woman to sit here and to try to go out of her way to defend this grown-ass man that then turned around and felt so comfortable as to call a sworn commissioned police officer who did nothing? Let's be honest. He didn't do anything. When it was critical, when he could have done more, he didn't. And he felt comfortable enough to call this grown man just to say something, like just to brag on this. Like he just won an election. And then so I was like, psychologically, it just, even from a logical stance, no woman would just go to bat to try to defend him unless you are a family member or loved one. And even his family members probably are saying to themselves, you know what? He did that shit. He did that shit. Because otherwise, there's no reason that a mayor would go to bat for a trustee that she can't fire to sit here and to try to keep him from responding unless she was well aware of that when it happened that night. Unless, hypothetically, he contacted her too. That's my theory on that. And you have, yes, Laura, a pattern of behavior. This is why we're going over both of the lawsuits to compare the complaint, the allegations between, you're talking about two separate different people here. Asha Gant and Fania Dukes. And two people saying it's almost the same thing about you, bringing forth similar allegations against you. That's not a coincidence. That's a pattern. And then he not only tries to avoid these cases, he doesn't go to court. He doesn't go to hearings. He's missed scheduled court hearings in both cases. It makes no sense. You're supposed to be, proclaiming your innocence here. Why aren't you going to court to answer to this, to provide your defense? Who goes out of their way to delay a case like this? Two of them now. There are two cases like this. And he barely shows up. One of the Asha Gant case, he didn't even accept summons. You're trying to dodge and bob and weave out of these situations that are not going away. Both have a jury trial demand. And the only logical thing I can think of as to why she would want to even put herself in the line of fire to stop him from responding is because she has knowledge of that incident that night as well as Officer Miles. That's it. Maybe she was in the room, maybe not. That's my theory. But I cannot understand why a narcissistic opportunist would sit here and she didn't even go out her way like that for Deacon Easter suit. Blue, black, brown, Dan Brown. I've never even seen her go to bat for him. The only time I've ever seen her defend any other man was the married boyfriend, Siggy. To where she risked possible criminal charges jumping in a fight. But he who will not be named was the only other person she really tried to go out her way to sit here and protect like this. And I highly doubt it was because she just wants the best for him. That had to be something that she wanted to keep out of the limelight, to keep secret. And the only thing I can think of is her having knowledge of it and still not saying anything. That's what it comes down to in my mind. This is my opinion. And when I do the video on those lawsuits, I'm 75% sure I'm going to come across some background facts or something in these lawsuits to help me better understand her whole motive for trying to keep him from speaking and talking about it. Because otherwise you're already in trouble for spending public tax dollars on a dumbass trip to Vegas. You're already in trouble about that. But to sit here and to keep him from responding time and time again, to try to sit here and answer on his behalf, he's innocent and all this other stuff. Like, why are you doing all that? You don't do that for anybody else. It comes down to the very real possibility that he contacted her too. And there could be evidence like a call log to prove that. And she doesn't want that connection to be made. Even though her whole defense on this is so obvious, it's mind-boggling. It's stupid, girl. Super stupid. Good grief. Your whole defense to this and trying to defend him is it's a whole bunch of red flags with that. It screams, man, something's wrong, something's wrong. Like, if she would have just been like, you know what, I'm just gonna be consistent and not giving a damn, because she don't give a shit about nobody else. She doesn't care. She could have stayed consistent with that. But she went out of her way, and it was overly obvious that she did not want him to say a word about it. And my theory is Officer Miles was not the only person he contacted that night. He who will not be named contacted, trying to brag about some nonsense that could land you in jail if you would have been criminally charged. It's disgusting. And she's not the only woman alleging these types of allegations of an essay nature. And that's crazy to think that Super Stupid would want to defend that when now you have two people saying similar things. Make that make sense. Lord have mercy. Y'all tell me what y'all think here. LLC, that makes sense because Fanil said they were rushing back to Illinois because she was having an emergency on what? She had to shovel snow the morning after the incident. Yeah, she knew what happened and didn't report it. That's going to ruin her. Yeah, I mean, if she's saying, well, this is going to ruin me. Oh, okay. So what are we going to find out about you and your knowledge of this? Because that would be the first thing that any detective would have asked had criminal charges been actually filed. Why would she go out of her way to do that? All those cameras in Las Vegas, they didn't pick up, not one camera view picked up this man and this woman, Fanil Dukes, alone together at any given time. The restaurant that they were at, wherever they went to get drinks, were there no cameras around? We're seeing full camera footages of hotels of P. Diddy assaulting a young lady, and we can't get one camera of a restaurant of these two alone together having drinks. It was her birthday. This is so crazy. So that's my 2 cents on that, y'all. It's been an hour and 12 minutes. I just wanted to kind of touch on those things. And I'm going to definitely go, now that I have both lawsuits, do a video and do a premiere on it. And just kind of go over the lawsuits and compare. And then I'm going to do a video for the Dolton firefighters lawsuits. And I came across a very interesting case of a complaint that was filed in 2017 with the Dolton firefighters for racial discrimination. I was like, what the hell? So, as much as I love the Dolton firefighters, I mean, honestly, these things are public information and it is definitely worth exploring. I read over the complaint. It's like a summary. It even went to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 7th Circuit for racial discrimination in the Dolton Firefighters Department. And I'm like, that's weird. But we're going to touch on that in that video. So I'm behind on the content I need to be pushing out, y'all. I appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you all for being very, very patient with me. The last 2 good days have just been crazy with work. Enrique said, quoting Belcher, the slap in the face was in the Thornton Township Magazine Lifetime Achievement Award. Him, even after what exactly. It's an insult. An insult. Siggy and Super Stupid forced Fanil to making a statement, making it seem like she was blackmailing the village. Yeah, I heard. That's what I heard. I think that's in the court documents as well. Is in the court documents as well. But she said, they came to her like, what do you want? Just write down what you want, sort of thing. Yeah, no. Never fall for that. I don't care who you proclaim to be anything. A real friend will not tell you to just write down something. First of all, a real friend will not send her married boyfriend in who has nothing to do with the incident either. Why is he involved? He's not chief of staff. His position did not give him the authority or the qualification to sit here and to try to intervene in this sensitive type of situation. So his black ass should not have been in there in the first place. He should have had no involvement in that. He should not have had any conversations, nothing. And then for, the conversation to be, well, just write down what you want. Get out of here. I want him to be investigated by Your bum ass out of here and go smoke a cigarette while you lying on court on documents regarding a grant. Leave me alone. This- don't insult my intelligence. Don't do that. Oh my Lord, have mercy. I think at some point I'm gonna do a video on Siggy as well. He's got some lawsuits, y'all, some cases. Oh my God, he got a whole history. That could be a 2-hour video just on half of the cases he got out there against him. Child, please. Yeah, I feel it in my bones. It's gonna be a Siggy video. All right. Let's see. Let's get to some of these. Allegedly. I know, right? Enrique, exactly. Free tip. Don't do live when INA doing live. They competing. First of all, I didn't know that Jedediah was going live. My live is kind of late because I have to work, but I didn't know he was going live too. You go tell Jedediah that. Tell him Lady Luck Club live. Can you pause? You're probably gonna say hell no. I don't care about Lady Luck Club. Somebody gonna tell him not to do a live while I'm doing one. And I didn't know he was gonna go live. Child, that's not somebody gonna work. It's all right. We're about to be done in a minute. I just want to get you all's comments in. Blue Black just wants to dance and cut grass. Oh, he needs to go. He need to be voted out. Or if she helped set it up, allegedly, of course. Yeah, I mean, definitely a part of that so-called, attempt to blackmail sort of thing, like, or no, not blackmail. Like a shakedown almost. Except you got the dumbass mayor encouraging somebody to shake down the village of Dolton. Because he who will not be named would not have given near any of those demands that, Siggy wanted her to write down. If she would have wrote down, I want $1 million, he who will not be named would have not given her $1 million. That would have been coming from public tax dollars straight out of the village of Dolton. Which is why I would have never taken that seriously. I'd be like, no. If I'm gonna write down what I want, I'm gonna write down what I want on a complaint and send it to a court of law. We're gonna do this the right way. But that still would have came out of tax dollars. Whatever, let's say if she got $250,000 in a house, right? Siggy, super stupid, and he who would not be named would have been 3 people that would not have given her those things. They would not have given her any money directly out of their pockets. They would not have bought her a house directly out of their pockets or given her a car or anything. They wouldn't have paid any bills out of their own pockets. That would have came out of tax dollars. So the idea of them going to her saying, write down what you want is laughable. Because that's something like that show up on a warrant list. Trustee would be like, what the hell is this? $250,000 for what? They wouldn't have given it to, they would not have given it to her out of their own pocket, out of their own account. And they didn't have, I highly doubt he would not be named, got $250,000 to just give somebody to keep her from filing a lawsuit. And just certain things, you just, it's not worth it. Nah, we doing this the right way. Kick rocks. We are doing this the right way. Not doing that. That's it. And I would have kept living. I would have walked out of there and not said a word. That way, they just leave them wondering what the hell you thinking. It's just, I would have just said, you know what? Have a good evening. I'm going home. And went and got a lawyer and filed a lawsuit. The end. You don't even have to let them know you coming with it. In the beginning, stupid, and even that name was rivalries. They ran against each other. And then they became BFF. Yeah, I mean, I didn't go back that far, y'all, because she's insufferable. But, clown being a clown. Ugh. Maybe he has dirt on. Like I said, Trina, I think the dirt that he had, or what her connection to it, could have just been more so of her knowing after the fact and still not saying anything about it, still not reporting him. That's kind of what my theory is with that. Because how else do you logically justify that? The whole level of defense for this one trustee person that once upon a time you couldn't stand his guts. Now you're trying to sit here and defend and protect him from SA allegations that you have nothing to do with. Make that make sense. So Obviously he just don't know how to shut the hell up. And he probably called her and contacted her. He definitely did with a sworn police officer and felt comfortable doing that. That's what's so disturbing. He who will not be named felt comfortable doing that and just did it knowing that nothing was going to happen to him because nothing happened until he got back. And he still didn't get criminally charged. Y'all know how hard it is to sit here and try to pursue SA allegations in a different state where the alleged incident occurred. You're talking about a month later. You got to have some evidence on this. And there was no, R kit done. So it really comes down to just at least the video itself being used as evidence. But did he show the police department the video? Did he record the video? That's the main thing that I would question. And aside from his testimony in the case, because testimony is evidence, you're talking about the time between the incident and the time where he told her what happened. That was a good length of time. That was precious time that should have been used to getting the R kit, to getting camera footage, videos, to other documentation you could have used to help with the claim. So it's crazy. It's Las Vegas. That's what I'm saying. It's Las Vegas. Cameras are everywhere. Not one camera in the hotel. We got hotel camera footage of P. Diddy assaulting a woman, but not hotel camera footage to see how Ania was even taken to his room. You would have seen her slumped over. You would have seen her halfway out of it. If she blacked out and didn't remember anything until she woke up, she would not have been able to walk on her own accord. That means he would have had to give her something that should have been lab drawn to get some blood samples to determine that, or at least a urinalysis, which should have been done after the incident. See, that evidence you need to kind of prove that something must have been given to me for me to black out and not know what happened to the next day. And then, of course, the preservation of the DNA itself from the bodily fluids. So, two missed opportunities because this officer waited. They went back to Dolton to try to sit here and say, "Oh, I just want to let you know this happened." I'm willing to bet Super Stupid was well aware as well. And she also just didn't say anything. I'm willing to bet that. And like I said, camera footage is cameras all over the place in hotels and restaurants and whole strips, malls, casinos, a whole lot of places there for cameras to be set up. Not one camera footage. At least the camera footage of the hotel should have been obtained. They should have cameras in the hallways, at the elevators, at the entrance and the exits of a hotel in Las Vegas. And I guarantee you all, they did not stay anywhere cheap. It wasn't no bum hotel or motel. It was a nice hotel. So it's kind of to be expected that there are cameras. And I'm sure there had to be a camera to even on every hall, on every floor. So a camera should have captured him carrying her almost to his room or something. How did she get in there? These are the questions that will be asked in the hearings. Well, most attorneys will want to know that. The jury is going to want to know that, But his ass ain't even trying to show up for a hearing. When you trying to prove your innocence and you don't want to go to court. That's baffling to me. Come on now. So anyway, oh man, the question is, why would she want to help cover it up? Yeah, because she knows something. Let me tell you something. My godmother told me this. There are people 6 feet under for what they knew. Sometimes it's okay to say, I don't even want to know. Don't tell me. That way, if you ever ask about it, something go down, you can be honest and truthful in saying you had no idea what the hell happened. Detective, I am honored to say I have no idea what you're talking about. And I stay out of that situation. And then let his ass take the fall. You don't see a narcissist opportunist like her go to bat unless there's a hidden agenda. It just doesn't happen. She's not just doing it to be nice. She's doing it because, like she told Fania, this will ruin me. Right? So let's take that and go forward with it, because these are things that she did say. This will ruin me if this gets out. Yeah. If the investigators are able to make a connection that he contacted you and you said nothing on the night of the incident, yeah, it would have ruined her. That's my theory. Because this is crazy. Y'all know Jedediah Clown loves me. He love me here. They love me here. I don't know if Jedediah Clown is a male or female, but trolls are trolls, y'all. They gonna be trolls. Thank you so much, Saint. Y'all hit the like button. All right, we've been at this long enough. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Just some things to think about. Um, you know, I do believe check the video to see if Delgado motion to super to stop Holmes from talking. I'll look into that. Delgado? Oh Lord, Delgado Law Group, the bum ass attorney. I don't take them seriously. I mean, they were supposed to be the village attorney and represent, both the mayor and the board of trustees in a neutral, impartial manner. Clearly, they were not capable of doing that. So I don't take the Delgado Law Group seriously. So he probably did. Probably was biased in this. Probably told him, don't let him say anything, because he probably knows, super stupid knew more than what she's putting off as well. And I think a call log will probably prove that point. But it's unfortunate that criminal charges were not filed. Now, what Fania could do is, get her attorney to file a motion to the court to see if they can get, either his call log, because he's the defendant in the case, or hers. Because more than likely, if they use those government phones, that stuff can be FOIA'd. If you are using a government phone, you're a government employee, and you use a government device, laptop, phone, tablet, and even if you decide to do a personal call, that is worthy of a FOIA under federal law. You can FOIA those call logs, text messages from that government phone if he used that government phone to call either one of them. So his phone records could be a FOIA request, if not a flat out subpoena. I didn't even think about that. Why? I can just see if I can see what device he used. If he used the Village of Dolton phone, I don't know if they get phones. I work for the city. I know we got phones. But if he was administered a phone, that can be FOIA. That's public information. Look at God. Won't he do it? So if I knew what hotel they stayed in, I think it's in the credit card statements. I'm going to go back through that and see if I can request the hotel camera footage. Because there had to be cameras in that hotel. I just couldn't believe it. There was no cameras there. Oh, man, it's so crazy. Hey, RTs, how you doing? I'm sorry, I'm just rambling on. Hey, status, go damn straight. How y'all doing? Appreciate y'all for tuning in. I decided to ding SD permanently for not holding his head over heart for the Pledge of Allegiance in the last 2 meetings. Oh, Lord. Tell him to go to his room. Yeah, maybe he can't. I mean, he has MS, right? Can he move his arm? I don't know. That would be the first thing I would assume. Maybe he's not physically able to do that. But if he can, then yeah, tell him he's on punishment. No sweets for a week. Right, and not acknowledge anything. Yeah. Oh, you're good. Don't worry about the all caps. I appreciate you all. Thank you all so much for tuning in. 52 people watching. I hope you guys have hit that like button. And there's something to think about, you all. This is a good conversation. I would love to know if he was using that thing on government phone, because that's public property right now, and that can be FOIA. Call logs, text messages, the video call, all those things can be FOIA. So I'm still trying to get Fania on to do an interview with her here. Dear Work Christian, that he would, my brother in Christ, Morehouse brother, would be a second in here, and it would kind of be more of a joint, except it would be streaming from my platform. He can stream to his as well, of course. But I would love to have her on just to do like an interview, a follow up with her, just kind of get her thoughts on everything that's going on, especially with her case, because it's just being stalled in court, and it sucks. And he will not be named as a coward or innocent man. You don't sit here and dodge summons in court hearings. Go to court. Take your bum ass to court. You got some innocence you want to protect, go to court. Is that simple? So, all right. I appreciate you all so much. You guys, make sure you tune in and look out for the video on these lawsuits with Fania Dukes and Asha Gant, and the video on the firefighters. We're going to cover Stamisha Williams lawsuit, and I'm going to start doing some homework and research on Siggy. You got it coming, Siggy. You got it coming. Y'all thought I was savage with Keith McNugget. I'm unleashing the fury in Siggy's video. So that's that. I feel pretty good about that. All right. Y'all make sure y'all have mama got to go to bed. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button on the way out. And Jedediah is live streaming, I guess. Okay, cool. And you guys make sure y'all have a good evening. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you all for supporting me here. They stayed at Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas. Okay, cool. I can send in a foyer. I can send a foyer. There you go. Thank you so much, Saint. I appreciate that. Make sure you leave that in the comment of this video as well, so I can be reminded. Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas. They definitely had cameras. Yeah. So we can see if we can get some hotel camera footage. This is going to be fun. All right. Y'all have a good evening, and I will talk to you all later. I'll try to go live tomorrow. But if not, look out for those videos to be premiered. You guys have a good night. And until the next one, later, look out. Deuces.